Sometimes we might tend to forget that wrestlers are just playing characters when they seem invested in it. But some spectators go even further. Whether driven by hatred, the thirst for attention, or their unconsciousness, people have already physically attacked superstars at their own risk. It is a pleasure to meet you on the Wrestling Paradise to present you the most shocking assaults of wrestlers by fans. Are you ready to be stunned to learn how Dean Ambrose almost got stabbed after a match? Do you want to know more about the unlikely reason why a young man viciously attacked Randy Orton? Do you want to find out how fans expressed their anger in a parking lot after Roman Reigns won the 2015 Royal Rumble? And are you curious to learn why Stone Cold Steve Austin couldn't defend himself against an individual who attacked him in the ring? You have come to the right place, because in our video we will see several memorable scenes together where spectators have exceeded the limits, and they will make you think. You are on the Wrestling Paradise, the most shocking assaults of wrestlers by fans. Let's go. In 2015, a drama almost happened at the WWE. It concerns Dean Ambrose, this former member of The Shield with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. The one who also wrestles under the name of Jon Moxley participated in the SmackDown show in August. That day, he had a match against his colleague Sheamus. During the confrontation, the Wyatt family will make an appearance. In itself, this is not so surprising, since with Roman Reigns, they had fought them at SummerSlam just a few days before. In any case, this distraction will make him lose, given that he will take a devastating brogue kick from the Irishman. The future tribal chief will try to come and help him without success. The show ended with the Wyatt family in a strong position. When the recording of the show is finished, Ambrose will go to the fans around the ring to sign autographs and take photos, as usual. He certainly did not expect what was going to happen a few seconds later. While he was busy with the spectators, a person was climbing the security barrier and will head determinedly towards Dean. Before he could reach him, a security guard managed to put him on the ground. We can also praise his exceptional responsiveness in this situation. Apparently, according to some witnesses, this individual had an object in his hand, more precisely a knife. We can then wonder what would have happened without the intervention of the guard. Given that Dean Ambrose had his back turned, and that everything took place in a fraction of seconds, he could have been stabbed. This incident shows us that wrestlers are never safe from a fan who assaults them. It is all the more dangerous for those who have to be hated, if they are dealing with someone who doesn't understand how pro wrestling works. At the end of the 90s, the WWE had massive success. Several million viewers followed the shows every week. Records were broken. Wrestlers like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin were planetary stars.
And that's the bottom line. What? 'Cause Stone Cold said so!
The arenas were packed, but one day there was nevertheless an incident with a fan. We are in Berlin, Germany in 1998. The Federation was on a European tour at a time when Stone Cold had just won the main title for the first time. That night, the Rattlesnake had a non-televised match against Triple H.
I am the game!
As usual, Austin triumphed thanks to his stunner move, which many fans were looking forward to. However, a spectator sitting at the edge of the ring was not really a fan of the redneck and was upset to see Triple H lose. In his disappointment, he rushed into the ring to attack Austin. What is particularly surprising for the time is that the cerebral assassin didn't hesitate to save his opponent. It may seem normal, but you have to remember that the wrestlers protected much more what is called kayfabe in those years. Let's say the line between the character and the very real personality was intentionally blurred. In any case, Triple H defended his rival in fiction before security took care of the individual. For the record, Austin believed that it was one of their colleagues at first. He said that at that time, it was common for wrestlers to come into the ring after a non-televised show to take a move. The Rattlesnake also explained that he couldn't hit the fan because he was supposed to be a nice guy. According to him, demolishing a spectator would not have been good for his character.
And Triple H have differing opinions.
In wrestling, there are not only incidents where fans confuse reality and fiction. There are also times where they can express their anger towards the WWE by attacking wrestlers. We had an illustration of this after the Royal Rumble in 2015. In this edition of this annual show, which determines who will make main event WrestleMania, Roman Reigns had triumphed.
Roman Reigns!
You have probably already heard of this wrestler, who has been one of the biggest names in the industry for several years. But in 2015, the fans rejected him. They didn't want this very stereotypical superhero who was presented as the new big star that everyone had to love. During this Royal Rumble, the presence of The Rock, his cousin, did not change anything. A big part of the spectators in the arena really didn't want him. In their anger, some fans were going to attack wrestlers after the show. They simply decided to block an exit through which WWE employees could leave. A person was sitting on a chair and preventing Heath Slater from leaving the arena. A few moments later, the Usos, who are Roman Reigns' cousins, wanted to get back on the road. Upon seeing them, several individuals will decide to degrade their rental vehicle with a chair. We imagine that their relationship with the Royal Rumble winner had a lot to do with it. In any case, one of the Samoans will get out of the car right away to confront these people. Of course, they had disappeared. This example makes us realize how creative decisions can have big repercussions on the wrestlers' real lives. We will now talk about an incident that happened at World Championship Wrestling in April 1998. At that time, this company was the main competitor of the WWE before being bought by Vince McMahon a few years later.
You have to grab your competition by the throat, and you've got to squeeze the life out of your competition.
The assault of a wrestler that happened there was no less shocking. It concerns Raven, who was famous for his character without morals and very philosophical. He is also directly involved in one of wrestling's most controversial scenes.
This is the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
While he was sitting in the corner of the ring talking, a fan decides to climb the barrier. He will grab him by his hair until he makes him fall completely. He could have wanted revenge, but he will stay calm. We'll see him go back to his spot and continue what he was saying. He didn't seem at all disturbed by what had just happened. Did he show impressive professionalism, or was this assault planned? For his part, Raven claimed he believed that another wrestler was attacking him. He had even already mentioned the idea of being assaulted in the corner of the ring with one of his colleagues very recently. But when he saw that it was a fan and that security had subdued him, Raven was pissed. Not only was he no longer allowed to touch him, but his colleagues were going to laugh at him because the fan was much skinnier than him. One of the most memorable incidents between a fan and a wrestler concerns Seth Rollins. It is even more memorable that it has led to questions about the evolution of the business, as you will see. It all starts in November 2021 when Rollins was talking on the microphone in the ring. He was bragging about the victory of his Monday Night Raw team at Survivor Series show the day before. He will be interrupted by the arrival of Finn Balor. This will lead to a fight between the two wrestlers. However, what happened a few moments later was absolutely not planned, and you will see that it is quite shocking. After beating up Balor, Seth was on his way to the locker room when he saw a fan coming at full speed towards him. This individual, obviously more massive than him, put him on the ground before being overpowered by security agents. There are several elements that make this aggression even crazier. First of all, we must realize that this young man had crossed the security barrier. He could very well have seriously injured the wrestler. And that's not all. After the incident, the fan explained that he resented Seth Rollins for having demolished Finn Balor, one of his favorite superstars. What would have also pushed him to attack him is a scam that he would have been a victim of. On social media, a person claiming to be Seth Rollins allegedly stole the equivalent of $3,000 in gift cards from him. Subsequently, the veteran Chavo Guerrero had reacted to the incident by saying, "Remember when the wrestlers were tougher than the fans? Ah, the good old days." This reaction brought a real question. Have WWE superstars become less and less intimidating over the years? In any case, many internet users will criticize Guerrero for this statement, which will push him to clarify that he didn't mean to disrespect Rollins in any way.
I am a visionary!
In wrestling, superstars have to take us into a story. Their goal is to make us believe in their characters. But it has already happened that a fan takes this great illusion a little too seriously. We are on SmackDown in August 2019, when Roman Reigns teamed up with Kofi Kingston and Big E to face Randy Orton and the Revival team. It was an unaired match, which is usually there to make the fans have a good time on site. But the members of the Revival were nevertheless determined to stay faithful to their bad guys gimmick. While they were being despicable with the fans as usual, an individual was not going to appreciate their little game. After this interaction with the wrestlers, he would spit on them. As you might expect, he was kicked out of the arena by security. Apparently, at the moment when they were provoking him, one of the men shook his head full of perspiration towards him. Even if they must not have liked to take this spit, they will still be able to tell themselves they have completely succeeded in making themselves hated. In a way, their mission was accomplished as villains. Randy Orton is one of the biggest names in WWE history. He impacted many fans with his psychopathic behavior in the ring and his iconic RKO move.
Are you kidding me? How did he do it?
Nevertheless, he has already been the victim of a person who probably heard voices in his head too. We are in South Africa in July 2013. In what was an ordinary evening for him, Randy Orton faced Big E at a time when the Viper had the Money in the Bank briefcase and played a nice guy. But not anymore soon though.
What the hell just happened?
While celebrating his victory by posing on the corner of the ring, Orton had the unpleasant surprise of being attacked by an individual. He simply gave him what is called a low blow in wrestling. That's a vicious blow in the balls. At first, Randy believed that it was another wrestler who did this to him. So he played the game by giving the impression of being in a lot of pain. But when he realized he was a fan, Orton was pissed off and wanted revenge.
Jaw and face!
Nevertheless, security had already taken the young man, although the Viper was at least able to kick him in the head. We will learn later that the fan was 20 years old and that he had planned this assault. He even quit his job to make sure he wouldn't miss the show. In reality, he wanted to attract the WWE's attention thanks to this attack and get a contract there. Subsequently, he added that he didn't like Randy Orton. As you can imagine, he was not offered any job in the company. On the contrary, because of this incident, the Federation filed a complaint against him.
Take me to the son of a bitch! Take me to him! Come on! Go, 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 go!
It's funny to point out that some people believed it was a stunt by the company. Usually, it is as discreet as possible about this kind of things. But this time, the video of the assault was posted on the WWE YouTube channel, which never happens in normal times. When a journalist asked Randy Orton if all this was a conspiracy, we quickly understood what the Viper thought of this theory.
You have no idea what's real and what's not.
The Hall of Fame is a time of the year when the Stamford Federation celebrates its legends. In this atmosphere, which is usually festive, violence and panic are not welcome. However, this is what happened in 2019. That year, D-Generation X was among the wrestlers inducted into the Hall of Fame. There was also the Hart Foundation, a group where we find Bret Hart. The Canadian is one of the most respected superstars, even if his history with Vince McMahon's former empire has not always been joyful.
I truly believe that Bret Hart screwed Bret Hart.
On the day of the Hall of Fame in 2019, you will see that it almost took a tragic turn. While he was in the middle of a speech alongside his niece Natalia, a fan arrives running from the stands. He grabs the legend and makes him fall to the ground. Seeing this, many employees arrive at full speed to help him and put the individual out of harm's way. The Canadian will have to take a trip to the hospital after this incident. It was a huge disrespect in what was supposed to be a solemn moment. Imagine that later the excellent heel MJF will use this story to taunt Bret Hart at All Elite Wrestling.
Hey, Bret, fans coming up!
Cheap, just cheap.
Oh my God!
And this is it for these most shocking assaults of wrestlers by fans. Seeing all these incidents, we realize how dangerous this job can be. Superstars can not only seriously injure themselves in the ring, but also deal with ill-intentioned individuals. Wrestling has long been a very secret industry. For many people, it was unthinkable for a long time that everything was choreographed and that it was actually actors. In any case, whatever their motives were, the actions of these fans remain intolerable and we hope to never see them again. All these stories make me offer you a debate. In your opinion, what reaction should a wrestler have to a situation where he is assaulted? Come and tell us your opinion. It will be interesting to exchange our points of view in the comments. We can say that sports entertainment is a fascinating industry. I hope you had a good time watching this video and I invite you to stay on the paradise of wrestling to look at some other ones. See you right away.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so. What?